So what's going on, YouTube? Heretic here, and that's Mari. Apparently she speaks cat now, and only cat. So anyway, Pokkén tournament revealed this what looked like it was originally going to be like a third Mega Mewtwo or something. Which yeah, I know. Like, well, that would just be Frieza, but Frieza. Sorry. Sorry, people. Anyway, so apparently it turns out more details got announced, and it looked like it was a Dark Mewtwo. Kind of looks like Mega Mewtwo X, almost. Here's a picture. Yeah, okay. So, then more videos just kind of Nintendo's just slowly, either they're leaking it or Pokemon's leaking it or somebody, and now we find out it's officially called, drum roll, Shadow Mewtwo.
Dun dun dun.
Now, as someone who didn't really play Pokemon between the years of 2003 and until New Year's of 2012, I don't know much about, other than, like, obviously I have a jumbo card of Shadow Lugia as part of my Lugia collection from XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube, but I didn't play these games, that, Coliseum, all this stuff when Shadow Pokemon were a thing. Mari here did, so she might be able to shed a little more insight onto this whole deal. What do you got?
Okay, well, to start, we should probably explain what Shadow Pokemon are. I mean, there might be some younger viewers that haven't actually played it, or silly people who just didn't play
Pokemon back then.
They're terrible. It even had a Lugia.
Yeah, I know, right?
It had a Lugia.
It had my favorite Pokemon on it.
So, we had Pokemon Coliseum first, and that introduced the concept of Shadow Pokemon. So, in short, what a Shadow Pokemon is there was an evil organization called Team Snag'em that stole people's Pokemon.
That's a horrible name.
It really is, but most of them are. So, once they stole people's Pokemon, they did a process to artificially close that Pokemon's heart. So, basically, they turned off all their emotions so that they could be kind of like killing machines, but not really because it's Pokemon, so they can't kill, so KOing machines, I suppose.
Faint, knockout, yeah, whatever.
Fainting machines, I don't know. Well, fainting machine would be terrible.
In the TCG, we go with knockout, although they say KO in the video games. When you use, like, Fissure or something, it says it's a one-hit KO.
For the one-hit KOs, they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Sheer Cold, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, etc.
So, in Coliseum, they actually had like a shadowy aura to them that you had to detect through a machine, except for this annoying character that followed you around that could see them. And that was actually how you got your Pokemon in the game, was that you would steal them from somebody else, but you were stealing them because you were going to help them. So
yeah, but you're still stealing them. I mean,
yeah,
it's just like, hey, I get to be Team Rocket now.
Basically,
Team
Snag'em was just handing out these Shadow Pokemon for people like, hey, you want a really strong Pokemon? Here's a Shadow Hitmontop, which, by the way, he was a real pain in the butt in Coliseum. I didn't
How many times has this kind of thing been done in, like, the Pokemon movies? Like, I could have sworn in the Celebi movie they did something like that with the Team Rocket members.
The movies are out of my realm.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm here for the video games.
I hated that Celebi movie. That was the first Pokemon movie I really did not like. I acknowledge that others were terrible before it, but I really did not like that one.
Will you hate that movie forever?
Moving on.
Moving on. So when you caught these Pokemon, they had a darkness gauge, basically. And the more you sent it out to battle, the lower the gauge got. And also, sometimes it would just work itself up into like a berserk frenzy and just start attacking, and it could do nothing else. But you could snap it out of that by calling out its name, like, Hoothoot, what are you doing? And it's like, oh yeah, I should probably calm down. And that would also decrease the gauge as well. But if you kept it in that frenzy, it was awesome. It would beat the crap out of everything, but you couldn't make its gauge go any lower, so it's the only way to break the gauge.
When you said call out its name, I immediately thought of the Never-Ending Story there for a moment.
I still don't know what his mom's name was. I can't understand what he's saying.
I watched that movie like 15-something years ago. I don't remember.
Alright, so...
Anyway.
There was kind of like this shrine in this one town that had basically been visited by Celebi a long time ago. Going back to forever.
Yeah.
And when you had the gauge all the way down to 0 again, then you could bring it to the shrine and it would do some time travel stuff where basically it would bring back the memories of before it had its heart artificially closed and it would heal it. Now in Colosseum, you only ever got one shadow move and it was called Shadow Rush, I believe.
Don't look at me.
Every shadow Pokemon had Shadow Rush. And then once you healed it and it became normal again, that move would reveal something else. Like, let's say it was an Arcanine, had Shadow Rush, and then it would get rid of that move because it's not a shadow move anymore, and maybe it'll get like Flamethrower in its place or something like that. XD was a continuation of that story. Kind of.
Except when you got rid of Shadow Rush, you got Aeroblast, right?
Yeah, but one thing they introduced in XD was different types of shadow moves, which is kind of what I think is going to take into play with the Mewtwo. So I do have a point to this, aside from just explaining Shadow Pokemon to you guys. Once it got to XD, which was the continuation still on the GameCube, you had other shadow moves instead of just Shadow Rush. Like, there was Shadow Storm, which was a total crap move, because basically it was like Hail, but for Shadow Pokemon. So anything that wasn't a Shadow Pokemon on the field would be affected by it.
Where's my Rayquaza?
Yeah. There wasn't one in the game, sadly.
Yeah.
So you would have a whole host of other ones, different moves aside just from Shadow Rush. And Shadow Pokemon are super effective against non-Shadow Pokemon.
Oh, that's not really fair.
Automatically, if you Shadow Rush, it hurts a lot.
So wait, does it go the other way around then too? Like non-Shadow Pokemon are not very effective?
No, I don't think it works that way. If
So
I recall correctly, they're just super effective against Pokemon.
It's like they're all just jacked up on dark steroids.
Oh yeah, so basically they're a pain to catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when they talked about Mega Mewtwo, I was kind of curious when I found out that it was a Shadow Pokemon. Because a lot of the speculation was that it was going to have moves like Aura Sphere and stuff like that, but technically...
Shadow Ball.
Yeah, and Shadow Ball was the other one. But in XD, the way it worked is the higher level the Pokemon became, the more Shadow moves it knew. So, like, the first Pokemon you came across probably only had, like, one Shadow move, and that was it. But once you got to the level of catching Shadow Lugia, all 4 of its moves were Shadow.
Yeah. Like, it's not like when you fight Giratina in Pokemon Platinum and you can just put a normal type out and have it not be able to hit you.
Yeah. And then Shadow Lugia was interesting because not only was it the only one to get an altered change when it became a Shadow Pokemon, and that like turned purple and gray and stuff like that, but it also had a special way of purifying it, as it's called. So that was kind of curious too.
To get it out of its shadow form.
Right. It was a pain. But
of course.
So chances are, because Mewtwo's are high leveled when you find them in the wild, my guess
I think they've always been level 70.
My guess is all of its moves actually would have Shadow in the name.
Probably.
Just because that's the way it worked in XD, so I'm gonna guess in terms of like Shadow Ball, even though it has Shadow in the name.
Yeah.
It's not an official.
I mean, it's
Shadow
like we have Pokemon moves that have Shadow in the name, like Shadow Ball, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Force.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect those. I would expect the ones back from Colosseum and XD, and
either that or they just make them completely new ones.
Yeah, I was about to say I would expect that they would probably make new Shadow moves, just because there was a huge jump from Colosseum only having Shadow Rush to XD, which it must have had like 10 or so.
Well, the other thing you have to remember is that we're looking at Pokkén Tournament. We're not looking at a game like XD or something.
True.
You know, we're looking at basically Street Fighter or Tekken in Pokemon form.
It does raise the interesting question, though. If there is a Shadow Mewtwo in here, it does take place in the same timeline as Colosseum and XD. So when I beat XD, apparently I didn't actually beat XD because there was a Shadow Mewtwo somewhere that I did not purify.
Yeah, but you couldn't.
I failed.
That would just mean that it was impossible to completely beat the game by your standards.
Oh.
This one's a perfectionist, I'm sorry.
I like trophies.
Yeah, but you didn't get trophies on the GameCube.
I got the trophy of knowing I won.
Can I see it?
No.
Of course not.
So what other kind of thoughts did you have about Shadow Mewtwo? I kind of gave the rundown of what Shadow Pokemon are and kind of comparing it what I would expect like with its moveset.
Sure, and I mean, like, the first thing I noticed, and I already touched on this a little bit, was that with Shadow Mewtwo, it appears to be a Shadow version of Mega Mewtwo X.
Yeah.
It does not look like the regular Mewtwo, although it looks more like the regular Mewtwo than a Mega Mewtwo Y does, because that one just looks wonky and weird and feminine.
It's got the shoulders going.
Yeah, like Mega Mewtwo Y is the female Mewtwo, and Mega Mewtwo X is the male one. Apparently, they grow genitalia when they Mega. Although I've long since pointed out that people used to think Mewtwo had a tail, but it starts in the front.
You do love that joke. Continue.
So anyway, I mean, I don't really know what else to expect. I think it looks awesome, but it's tough to say, you know, like, if it goes to XYZ, or XY and Z, I guess is what they call the new anime version.
Is it? Okay.
And, I mean, I think there's a lot of things to be said, because I think, you know, immediately people saw that and were like, different looking Mewtwo, like, we could still tell it's Mewtwo, but it's different than the forms of it we've seen. Is this a new Mega Mewtwo for Pokemon Z? Like, we had, you know, I think a lot of people were able to assume Pokemon Z, or make that educated assumption when X and Y came out because of Zygarde. You had X and Y, which both had mascots that began with their letter, Xerneas and Eviltal. Now you have Zygarde that was in the game since then, and people are like, why is this thing such a piece of crap? Well, now we've learned that Zygarde is basically Cell, and we were looking at pretty much like, I don't know if you want to say like imperfect or semi-perfect. Probably closer to semi-perfect, but whatever. We're looking at a 50% power Zygarde as the one that's been in X and Y. Compared to the full form Zygarde, which, again, you know, like, he's like Cell from DBZ. Which, you know, are they going to make one that's based off of Boo now? Or are they going to go back to Vegeta or something?
Ooh.
Bees. No, I mean, otherwise, it'd be interesting to see if they want to bring this concept into Pokemon Z or X, Y, and Z. Well, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna call it Z because it's easier. But I guess I'm kind of curious if they do. Is that going to be the Mega? Is that Mega Mewtwo X? And if that's the case, is Mega Mewtwo Y also going to have like a shadow form?
I'm going to guess you will probably get a Y shadow form eventually, but I think this is Pokkén tournament exclusive.
So if
I don't think you are going to actually see this in the video game, because if you saw it outside of Pokkén tournament in XYZ, well, technically Z, you're right.
Yeah.
It would have to have some kind of purification process in there as well.
Otherwise,
and then they would have to introduce other shadow Pokemon. What would be the point of just having one shadow Pokemon?
I mean, otherwise, the closest...
You're looking at a completely different game mechanic being tossed in there as well.
I mean, the closest comparison you could make at that point would be to make it part Dark type, but then you have what with Mega Mewtwo X? You have a 3-type Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never had that. You know, you're looking at Dark Psychic fighting.
Because actually, when you caught Shadow Pokemon in XD and Coliseum, you could not transfer them until they were purified.
Okay.
To a regular game. So
I didn't even know you could transfer anything in those games to a regular game. Learned something new.
It's the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire box.
Okay.
For Nintendo GameCube, it was
pretty
hard to find.
You couldn't just use that little thing that attached to the bottom of the GameCube that could play like your GBA games and stuff?
I never had one.
See, I did, and I wish I still did, because I'd love to be able to play Golden Sun on my GameCube again. But, I mean, it's interesting, too, when you kind of bring that into Pokemon Z, because I think what you say, you know, it's Pokkén Tournament, and they can release more patches and more updates for that game as time goes on. You know, maybe down the line we see Shadow Mega Mewtwo Y, or just regular Shadow Mewtwo. And if they do a Mega Mewtwo Z, maybe we see that.
Another part of it is I had actually read an article that said Pokkén Tournament wasn't doing so well in Japan. And actually, one of the complaints that was being brought up was that it didn't have boss battles. So I don't know. I don't know when Shadow Mewtwo was created, if this was created afterwards, or if they'd already been planning it and they were just kind of testing the game first. But it is possible that it could be a response to the fact that there weren't any boss battles, and they were trying to draw hype for it again. So they're like, dude, well, everybody loves Mewtwo, and you know what'll really get people talking and what's gonna really make people come and see this is if we bring back that old mechanic that hasn't been seen in like 10 years.
It's something that's been absent from the franchise for a long time, and I mean, I guess when I look at it too, you know, you think about it like some of the Pokemon in Pokkén Tournament that have Mega Evolution capabilities can actually Mega Evolve mid-battle.
Yeah.
So, maybe, I mean, obviously it shows it as Mega Mewtwo X in Shadow form, but maybe it can go, maybe it's Shadow Mewtwo and it goes to Mega Shadow Mewtwo or whatever.
My guess is being a boss, it will probably just be Shadow Mega Mewtwo.
Okay.
Because
I mean, and that's
because you want to give it that challenging aspect, and you need time to actually get those points so you can Mega Evolve, so it would kind of increase the difficulty is what I'm thinking, if it was just Mega and didn't have to Mega Evolve or anything.
But then, you know, it also begs the question, does this become a playable character in the game? Because I guess part of it, if what you're saying is right about people saying there's not enough boss battles, maybe was this a character that was initially meant to be in the game and they made it a boss battle? Maybe when you finish the boss battle then you unlock Shadow Mewtwo as, or just Mewtwo as a playable character, and then at which point you would have to work up to Mega it.
I mean, it's hard to say. There are a lot of fighting games where once you beat the boss, you do unlock them. A big example would be Super Smash Bros.
Smash Bros, yeah.
But then there are other fighting games where that doesn't necessarily happen. I can't come up with
Street
one right
Fighter
now.
and stuff like that, yeah.
But
Mortal Kombat, I mean, it's...
my guess...
I never got to unlock Goro.
If I were to guess, if they want to go the playability route, which is more likely because they do have Super Smash Bros., which they're part of because they have Pikachu and Lucario and...
Well, and Mewtwo's also been absent from Super Smash Bros., at least from my knowledge. I don't remember if they brought it back for the new one, but I know on the Nintendo Wii, in Brawl, it was absent from there.
If they do decide to go the playability route, which probably is more likely for them...
I would think so.
They probably would have a Mewtwo or something so that it can Mega Evolve, because if you just had a regular Mega that you just started off with, probably wouldn't work out too well, or it'd be banned from
competitive play. And if the whole idea, it sounds like with Pokkén Tournament, is that they do want to make this a competitive kind of atmosphere. I mean, they did that at the World Championships.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see Jason and some Tekken players and some other Pokemon players, you know, go out. And you know,
Pikachu's OP.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you pretty much had to see that coming, though. But, I mean, Pikachu's OP in a lot of situations in Super Smash Bros. Too.
But another reason why it probably would end up being playable was that was actually another complaint that Japanese players had, was that there wasn't enough playable characters.
Yeah, and
because
when you look at it...
you gotta consider there's Pikachu, but then there are also, like, 2 more forms of Pikachu.
Yeah, but then you have, like,
Pikachu.
what? Lucario, Suicune... Gengar...
Weavile.
Okay, Weavile,
Machamp.
Okay, yeah,
Blaziken.
That definitely makes it. Blaziken, yeah. And I want to say there was probably a couple other ones. I don't know. I mean, I've yet to go visit the Baller at Dave & Buster's for a little demo of this stuff, so I don't know. You're killing my copyright issues right now.
Just keep talking over it.
Yeah, I know, right? And just hope that we don't get matched third-party content, because that's not the intent.
I didn't just get a text message.
Oh no, and your text tone's totally not way too long.
Shut up.
It's not a very nice thing to say.
Face.
My face is amazing. Anyway, I mean, I guess, you know, it does seem like it's a Pokkén Tournament thing. You know, that's very good points to have about it, which means sadly we probably won't see it in the TCG. So it'll have to sit right there with Metal Armored Mewtwo to say, come to the trading card game, please. And I would love to see that one come to the video games, too. I mean, that was something that just got kind of cast aside after I saw both a little bit in the anime and then they showed the whole deal in the first movie. But I mean, you can't tell me that wasn't the best looking. I mean, that and this new Shadow Mewtwo thing are by far, in my opinion, the coolest looking Mewtwo's they've ever done. You know what? I don't care what you want to say of the regular ones, and you can even count the final form of Frieza as a Mewtwo form, because to me that's close enough, and that is the only form of Frieza that I like. But it's still the best looking Mewtwo. You don't have to raise your hand.
Movie promo Mewtwo.
That's just a regular Mewtwo. Oh wait, are you talking about the one that? Wait, are you talking about the one that came in the theater, or the one that goes like, "Ugh," that you got when you bought the video or the DVD? Because that thing was fugly. Oh my god, that was the ugliest promo card I had ever seen back then. I remember as a kid being like, "What the f is this?" Like the one you got in the movie theater that had the gold stamp. Those look sweet. For those of you viewers who watched my Mega Mewtwo match video against Xander Bennett, those are the ones that I used as my Mega Mewtwo proxies for the
ones.
No, those are the cool ones. All right, I used the right ones. Mew1464 dropped a stack of 12 of those things on me about a year and a half ago. You know what? I put them to good use.
Anywho, can you think of anything else?
I mean, I guess I could think of things regarding Pokemon Z, but we don't really know enough about it yet, other than Zygarde is basically Cell. I mean,
it literally does have a form named Cell, which is so cute.
Yeah, it has the Cell form, and it's got. Oh my god,
so
just imagine just making. See, I feel like Zygarde could be a plush up until it's borderline on its 50% form, the one you see in X and Y.
Doggy.
And well, yeah, but that's only a 10% form. Like that one could be a plush. But once you get up to the 50% form, you could make the case for a plush or a figure, and then the perfect Cell I feel like just has to be a figure. Or perfect Cell. Well, yeah, that would have to be a figure too, but the perfect Zygarde or complete Zygarde, whatever it's called, so that they don't have copyright infringement from
it's called
Toei Animation.
I'm really super powerful, but Mari's Rayquaza would still destroy it.
You know, I discovered the Mega Mewtwo Y has a higher spec attack stat than I believe anything in the game. It's higher than Attack Deoxys. The two Mega Mewtwo's have their attack stats are like, I think, in the vein of 200 or something. Physical for X and special for Y. I don't know. That's about all I got. Anything else you wanted to say?
Nope.
Had to think about that for a bit, huh? Didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
She's hiding something, people. Alright. Well, I guess we'll probably sign off for now then, and we'll see you guys soon. Cheers.